Sending peace, blessings, and abundance, my loves. Today I'm going to dive into full moon in Pisces, August 2018, which is to transcend suffering. And I found some great information while I was doing my research, which aligns with a lot of the videos I posted this month, which means that it also aligned with my intuition and my soul. Please know that before I share anything with you, I make sure it vibes with my soul, because I definitely want to make sure that it's something that's going to benefit you guys, as well as myself. All right. So I'm going to jump right into it because it's a lot of good information that I want to share with you. And to be honest, I wasn't quite sure if I was going to do a video about the full moon, because during my research and dealing with things, working on myself, I wasn't really finding anything that resonated with what I was feeling and what I had been going through this month until actually on Saturday. So I'm doing this video a little late, seeing that the full moon is going to occur this Sunday, going into actually Monday, because the full moon is August the 26th at 1:30 a.m. Eastern time. So it actually leads into going into the 27th. All right. So I'm going to jump into it. So guys, we are currently experiencing 6 planets in retrograde. Retrograde again is basically those planets appearing to go backwards. That would be Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and I also included Chiron. Chiron, if you're not familiar with it, is a comet with a unique and erratic orbit. In the natal chart, Chiron is symbolized by the wounded healer, which goes in line with this full moon, which is transcending suffering. Chiron represents our deepest wound and our efforts to heal the wound. And in Greek mythology, Chiron could heal others' wounds, but not its own. And Kronos, or Saturn, is the father of Chiron. So when planets are retrograde, we are supposed to internalize our relationship with these planets. We're basically supposed to contemplate on how well we are utilizing their energies by observing their lessons in our lives. We can do this by using a natal chart to determine what houses the planets are located in our natal chart. If the planet in retrograde is not in your natal chart, meaning it's not falling in one of your houses, what you can do is you can go by what house that planet rules. If you haven't pulled your natal chart, I actually got my free report on a site called Cafe Astrology, and it'll give you the placement of Chiron and the planets as a whole in your natal chart, where they fall in that 12 house wheel. All right. If you're feeling stagnant, or if you've been feeling stagnant or having feeling like you have a lack of forward movement in your life, once Mars goes direct on August the 27th, which is Monday, things in your life will start to gain some momentum. Also, the lesson with the sun in Leo, we were basically challenged to face our greatest fears and self-doubt. And this ended on August the 24th, which was Friday, once the sun moved into Virgo. So a lot of the feelings and the pains that we've been enduring is because we've been working to move outside of the painful experiences that we've gone through. Not only in this lifeline, but in past lifelines. Okay. The focus of this full moon is about us going deep within oneself. And when you think about deep diving, you think about water. And this full moon is in Pisces, which is a water sign. This lesson is to transcend suffering in order to use our light to serve others. Full moon is the point of the month where we are at our most emotional state. And I know that we all can feel it and tell it, because, you know, the moon represents water. And again, I say this all the time, with our body being predominantly water, the moon affects our tides in our bodies. Now, this is especially the case, to be honest, with this full moon, because this full moon is in Pisces. And since Pisces is the final water sign, it takes us into the darkest depths of our soul. The deepest, darkest part of the water is where our deepest unresolved pain lies, is where that pain is buried. So it is a time to awaken the mystical being within us all and become the fish, the ancient symbol for mysticism before it was plagiarized by the Romans. The symbol of Pisces is two fish, which I know we're all familiar with because, that again is a figure that's used in Christianity to symbolize Jesus Christ. So the symbol of Pisces, with it being two fish who swim in opposite directions, this represents the duality, which is feminine, masculine, or yin and yang. Even though the fish are swimming in opposite directions, they are still never separated. They are bonded by a thread of some sort that is connecting the two together. The two fish represent the integration and balancing of the two polarities. When our inner mystic is unconscious, we may feel like we're overwhelmed by the paradoxes of life and whatever our situation is at that time. Whereas when we awaken our inner mystic, which is the accumulated womb of wisdom of the ancient feminine wisdom teachings, that's a lot to say. We begin to see two apparent opposites can both become simultaneously true and accept the all as divine, seeing the gift in both the light and the dark equally. So basically seeing that both our yin and yang can work together to achieve our true balance, so that we can achieve our true balance. It is teaching us not to be too far on either side of the spectrum, not too far on our feminine aspect, not too far on our masculine aspect, to be balanced in both of them in order to balance ourselves. And that's definitely something that I had to work towards, because when I first awakened, I was so focused on elevating, and getting to my higher self that I was putting my ego or my masculine side on the back burner, my analytical side on the back burner, which I actually do understand why I did that, and that's because, of course, spending the majority of this lifeline so far in being in the ego, I felt that I needed to give myself a little bit more medicine of the feminine side, in order to get myself where I should have been. So I did spend the majority of this almost 2 years on this journey with building up that feminine side and getting that back on course. However, now what I'm doing is focusing more on balancing the two. And that's really what this full moon in Pisces, and honestly, all this energy that's been going on in 2018, these solar eclipses, the planets in retrograde, Leo, the past new moon with going through the Lion's Gate, or the Stargate being open with Sirius. So all of that has been really sending information and signals to us, and we've been really feeling it strongly because we are supposed to be working on that balance. Now, when we are walking in our consciousness, we see everything in life as an act of the divine, and life becomes a magical pathway with divine mysteries that basically lead us to serendipity and synchronicities in our life that we start to that lead us to our soul's mission, basically. So instead of seeing things as erratic and things just happening to us, we start to see the divine in everything, like the reason why things are happening, the reason why we went through the things we went through. We see the magic in that. We see the mystery in that, which is the feminine side. Now, this month, you may have noticed that you had some old karmic lessons come up, some patterns of behavior and addictions come up that were actually masking pain or deep-seated issues that you hadn't purged, or that I also noticed, I can say that I hadn't purged. I noticed this happen with myself, and I spoke on that with some of the things I was eating, because I was eating all kind of sugary candy and just things that I normally use when I was going through something. So I would go on a binge, like, and eat certain things that weren't necessarily good, or I would go to not really wanting to eat because I might have start feeling some type of stress try to come up, and that really is because of things that I had to deal with that I was still holding on to, basically. Okay, and the and what happens is when you don't deal with that, you'll keep experiencing those same cycles. It's a loop that you're stuck in, basically. All right. And also the reason why they keep coming back up is because in the cycles, the cycles that we're going through, we actually created a shadow self to deal with those cycles, to deal with those things that we didn't want to deal with, that we wanted to continue to avoid. So our shadow self is the part of us, that dark part of us that we retreat into when we don't want to face things that we should have been dealt with and purged a long time ago. And that's what this full moon and all this energy that's been going on this year is actually been leading us towards. Now, this full moon is time to transcend those old issues that result in a mindset and feelings of victimhood, blame, resentment, and martyrdom. Our challenge is to confront how we are addicted to these states of being, take responsibility in order to heal ourselves within to break these cycles so we don't repeat them anymore. And again, that is playing the victim, blaming others for our state of being, resenting the situations we experience because we look at these things that happen to us instead of in a negative connotation, instead of things that we signed up for when we incarnated in order to get us to the point that we are now on our soul journey. And then the martyr syndrome goes back to the Christ effect, which is feeling like we're supposed to sacrifice ourselves and be a martyr to others by taking on their issues or being their punching bag or whatever it may be, versus speaking up for ourselves, which is something I'm working on. Speaking up for myself and being more vocal versus being somebody's, the best way I can put it is, call and dump their problems and issues on, or whatever it may be, and or judge my life or whatever for the path that I chose to walk in this particular lifeline. So learning how to let go of those people, and that's really letting go of things that's within me, because the people can only come back if it's certain things that you still have to purge within yourself. All right. And basically, once you get to that point, then you won't repeat those cycles. So anywho's, I say all that to say is, with the martyrdom, what we're actually supposed to do is we're supposed to lead by example and be a light to others to give them a path to follow. Basically let your light shine, your star. Let your light shine so that it shines so bright that others want to follow it. Okay? So this is really the time, like I said, this is really the time to shed light on the darkness, that shadow self, and utilize the wisdom you have gained from your painful experiences, and to realize it was all divinely prepared by your soul before you incarnated. Letting go of the victim mindset, who sees life as just happening to them, rather than every event as a part of your soul agreement or contract to aid you in successfully achieving your soul mission. I just made sure I had to repeat that because I want to make sure that it gets into, your subconscious, that you're hearing what I'm saying truly on a spiritual level. Now, I posted some videos this month about healing your inner child, decluttering our mind and our physical worlds, and spoke on utilizing meditation and crystals to do inner work to aid in this process. I spoke on how when your mind is cluttered, your physical existence is also cluttered, because it is a reflection of what's going on in your mind. So August 2018 full moon is definitely a message from the divine given to me for this time in my life. For this time in my life, to work on self and to also share with others, so that you could also work on yourselves and purge those things. Even though at the time when I was sharing it and I was doing those videos and I was going through these things, the rational mind wasn't aware why I was going through it. It still was divinely, I was divinely put into that particular mindset in order to get, to share that with you and to get myself to a better place. Let's see. Also, I know that I was meant to share that so that when you got to this point, or that I got to the point of filming this video, and we got to the point of full moon, you will already have been releasing things, and we will also all be releasing things to prepare us for the full moon rituals in order to transmute that energy that we have been working on doing our inner work, to make it beneficial for us to break those cycles that we continue to perpetuate. All right. Now I'm going to talk about some special happenings in the sky. We have a grand Earth trine this full moon. What that means is we have 3 planets, all in Earth signs, forming an equilateral triangle and supporting each other with harmonious aspects. And what equilateral means, for those who don't know, it means that all sides of the triangle are equal. They're all the same, at the same angle, and they have the same amount of length, basically, totally even. The celestial bodies that make up this trine is the sun, which is the planet of our soul's gifts. And the sun is in Virgo. Like I said earlier, the sun moved from Leo to Virgo on August the 24th, which was Friday. So Virgo is the sign of sacred sacred service. And like I said before, we're cleansing out ourselves and purging ourselves of those painful things so that we can be of service to others and help them heal through, us leading by example and by whatever our soul gives, what we're chose to do in this lifeline. Because I truly think that everything that we are supposed to do truly is in service of others. It doesn't matter what it is. Now, the second planetary body is Uranus. That is the planet of future destiny, which is also the planet of higher minds. And Uranus is in Taurus, which is the sign of love, beauty, and Mother Earth. And that's why I know that I have been led to connect back with the earth and do a lot of grounding. So I've been doing a lot of sun gazing. And when I do my sun gazing, I'm grounding myself by treading idle. So standing on the earth with no shoes on, with no obstructions. And that's allowing me to connect to the earth. So, and also that allows you to connect to nature as a whole as well. The third thing, Saturn, the planet of responsibility, is in Capricorn. And Capricorn is a sign of building, enduring commitments and structures. Also, Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn. So it is like basically Saturn is home. Now, this trio is supporting us to anchor the dream. That will be whatever you have been seeing, sensing, or feeling intuition towards in the inner realms. What is in the dreaming in our unconscious. We're being asked to bring that out into our physical world, to live in it, basically. So to live our dreams in the physical. Make it a reality. This is how we create a new cycle that's soul fulfilling by allowing the inner self to direct us. Okay? Jupiter, the planet of expansion, now in Scorpio, which is the sign of transformation, and Neptune, the dreamy planet, ruling planet of Pisces, in its home sign, are forming a supportive trine this full moon. So we have Neptune being in Pisces, which is its home sign as well. So you just see a lot of synchronicity happening in the planetary bodies. And then Jupiter being a planet of expansion, that means that we are expanding our dreams, which means dream big, think big, and know that you can have whatever you so desire in your heart. But, you have to make sure that you clean out the bad cycles in order to achieve those things. Now, this will help us connect with the dreaming to expand our possibilities for our lives. Like I said, Jupiter, the planet of expansion. The Grand Trine may also challenge us to get real by dealing with the physical consequences of our actions or non-action. So if you haven't really been physically putting the work there, you haven't been meditating, you haven't been sun gazing, you haven't been working with your crystals or doing inner work, you haven't been putting any of those things into play, then you're going to have to deal with the consequences of non-action as well. Pisces, the sign of the mystic, is the opposite sign to Virgo, the sign of the earth priest and priestess. So Pisces is the sign of the mystic, is your feminine energy, and Virgo is the direct opposite to that sign. Is more of the earthy sign of the being and being grounded in self. So together they form an axis which must be balanced. To balance Pisces energy, we need to embody the strengths of Virgo. And for me, this is definitely important because I have Virgo in my North Node and Pisces in my South Node. Your life purpose, if you're not familiar with the nodes are, your life purpose is encoded in the North Node and the South Node of the Moon. The North Node represents our karmic past and the lessons we came here to learn, or the language we're learning to speak. The South Node reveals the challenges and gifts we bring in from our previous lifetimes. So that's to give you a little bit of knowledge on the nodes. Virgo urges us to do our soul's deepest calling as our service to the world rather than to slave or prostitute our soul by doing a job for money or sticking with something we've outgrown simply because it offers us a sense of security. So there are some of us that are stuck in a rut, that are in a job just because it's comfortable to us, and we feel and we are afraid to step outside our comfort zone. So it's definitely, Virgo is calling for us to do that. It's calling for us to start doing our soul work and to stop doing jobs just for the money, because otherwise you're a slave to the money. Pisces reminds us our ultimate work is our inner work. So you see how you have Virgo, the masculine, and then we have Pisces on the feminine side. So by doing our inner work, it's saying that what we create in the outer world is a reflection of that. So it's important for us to utilize the organization skills of Virgo to ensure we have efficient systems, so we don't neglect our daily practice to connect above and below and balance both light and dark, heaven and earth within. So basically, what we create in the outer world is what Pisces is telling us. What we create on the outer world is a reflection of our inner work, basically. Whatever is going on in the inner is a reflection of our outer. So we're utilizing the organizational skills of Virgo, because Virgo is a very organized sign, to ensure we have efficient systems so we don't neglect certain things in order to connect both of our energies, our masculine and feminine energies, and balance both the two. It's basically us learning how to balance the two, the light and the dark, the heaven and the earth, the above and the below. The more unresolved past pain we are carrying, the less clear we will feel during a major Pisces transit, such as what we're going through. So if you feel like you don't know where you're going or what to do, what you need to do is just focus on the feelings in order to release old pain so you can be available to your own soul. And you might also notice during this time you're seeing a lot of symbols coming from the universe. So you're seeing a lot of numbers. You might be seeing a lot of synchronicity, 1111s, 111, 222, and so on and so forth. Excuse me, you might be seeing your birth date. I've been seeing a lot of synchronicity, but I've also been seeing my birth date. And I did a little research on that and found something that resonates with my soul. And I'm going to do a video on that and share that with you guys as well, so you can have an understanding of why you might have been seeing your birth date, because I feel that I'm not the only one, because I know that one of my nephews as well, he told me he had been seeing his birthday. So he found some information that resonated with him, so he got clarification on his. However, I'm going to share what I found, which fits truly what the reason why I've been seeing it. My birthday. And when I mean by birth date, I mean you see the month that you were born in and the day that you came into this existence. All right, so I stopped talking about when I was talking about releasing old pain so you can be available to own your own soul. This is basically a powerful portal to transcend addictions through spiritual communion that supports the release of emotional pain. That's what this full moon is. This is a time for self-care and love by focusing on inner work and self-healing, which is the ultimate act of self-love. Once this is achieved, we can begin the work of serving others. If you don't know where to start, what you can do is set an intention and ask the universe for guidance. Then pay attention to those signs. Like I said, the signs could be you seeing the same number on the clock. You can see it at AM and PM. You can see it every day for a certain point of time. You can see like I've been seeing multiple numbers, not just, seeing the repeating numbers. I've also been seeing numbers like 126 and things like that, and getting an understanding of what those numbers mean. You can also see signs like in July. In July, I was sitting outside of the Airbnb I had been staying at, and I had stayed at that one quite a few times. So I was sitting outside. I think I was meditating or whatever, or finishing meditating, and this hummingbird literally flew right in front of my face and just hovered there for some seconds. And I knew it meant something. However, I didn't know at the time, and I knew I needed to find out why. However, I didn't at the time. But when it happened again, when I came to stay at this place in August, I was sitting outside. Again, I was finishing up some meditation or either about to start meditating, and a hummingbird did the same thing. It literally flew right in my face. And, with a healthy distance, it wasn't like literally right there. However, it flew in front of my face and hovered there for some seconds. And I did find out the meaning, and I'll tell you about that when I talk about the birthday. I'll talk about what it means when a hummingbird comes in your path, because it is a good sign. It is good luck. And the Native Americans or indigenous, they actually knew that the hummingbird was a sign of good luck. So I'll talk about that as well. Some other symbols you might see. I've seen butterflies. Like I go by the name Knowledge Butterfly. When I was in Jamaica, I had butterflies, literally some butterflies surround me. There were some white butterflies. So it was like almost like a white healing light. White butterflies surrounded me and just flying around me, going around circular around me. I've experienced a yellow and black butterfly, big butterflies flying near me. And I know that's significant. So I'll definitely talk about some of those things. However, that's how you know that you are doing something right, and your intuition is guiding you, and also the ancestors are guiding you and coming and telling you that you're on the right path to stay positive and to stay focused. But like I said, I'll get into some of those signs, but pay attention to those signs when you ask the universe for guidance. For me, I was starting to have a little bit of self-doubt, which is again something that I was working on letting go of and purging, and working on more of my self-confidence, and knowing that as long as I'm listening to my intuition, that there's no wrong in that, So, like I said, pay attention to the signs. Notice those signs. Now, this is a time to attune to our subtle senses, to feel our way through the dark when the way isn't clear, to decipher with our rational mind. And by that, of course, that means this is a time for us to actually be more in tune with our intuition, be very in tune with our intuition, and not try to figure everything out with the rational mind, not try to make everything make sense with the rational mind, because your intuition knows, your inner wisdom knows exactly why you're doing the things that you're doing, as long as you are listening to it and following the path of it. And for people who question and say, hey, how do I know that it's my intuition? How do I know if I'm following it? This is what I've come to understand, because I was exactly the same way, and sometimes I'll want to question it. However, I have a much stronger sense of when my intuition is speaking to me, and this is how I know. You get a sense or a feeling that you need to do something, and it puts in your mind something that you need to follow. You may not know why, however, it's something that you need to follow, you need to do. However, then a voice comes after this and tells you to do the opposite, makes you doubt what you just felt or what you just heard. That's how you know that was your intuition, because your ego has literally just tried to jump in and detour you from doing what you just got a feeling that you need to do. That's how you know it's your intuition. And if you are still needing more confirmation, you can always ask the ancestors. You can always ask the spirit guide to give you a sign that that's what you're supposed to do, and don't do believe, and trust me, they will do so. Every single time they'll let you know, and then you can meditate on it as well. However, what we're supposed to do is get out of that doubt and know that when your intuition tells you to do something, like when it told me to sign up for this house sitters thing, that it was meant for me to do it. And so I did it, and now, you know, I'm moving on to other things. All right. Now, this is a time to clear ancestral pain, collective pain. So also invite the ancestors in to help you with that as well. Because, of course, ancestral pain is something that's been in your DNA. It's encoded in your DNA. So you can call on the ancestors in order to help you with the rebraiding of your DNA. And I really do want to do, I really am going to do a video about Dan Winter. He has he has quite a few videos talking about the heart harmonics, or the harmonics of your heart, and basically how the emotions are the weaver. So it gets really technical. However, to be honest, I have a lot of understanding of what he's saying. It makes a lot of sense on how your emotions basically braid your DNA. And by braiding your DNA, it impacts your reality, because whatever your heart is feeling, that's what you are creating, because you're willing it through your heart. However, I won't get into the detail of that. I'll talk about it in a later video, because this video is about the full moon, and I do want to stay on task with that, even though I'm almost done, actually. So again, with this full moon, this is about drowning and being born again, being reborn. It's like baptizing yourself in the Pisces water. And it's so we can attain a balance again between our masculine and feminine, which is the work, the physical work and the spiritual work, and the work needs and the spirit needs, between the structure and going with the flow, and between just knowing when you need to put in or use your logical or analytical side, and when you need to use your intuitive side. Like I said, with the intuitive side, it's something you feel, and you go with that first, just to be honest. And then once you go with the intuitive side, your logical side will start to kick in with the things that you need to do, like how the Virgo will give you the structure on how to accomplish what your intuition, what your intuitive side told you need to do. That's really how the balance is supposed to work. The intuition guides you, and the analytical side gives you the structure and the organization to get that thing accomplished. Okay, so it's just like how my intuition tells me what YouTube videos I need to do. However, my analytical side helps me in structuring the video or structuring the things that I want to talk about. Okay. Now, what I will say, if you put in the inner work, you will begin to manifest your wildest dreams because of this full moon, and from the energy from this full moon, and you'll start to see things happen within basically the next 6 months. And it'll basically mean that your dreams are becoming a reality if you put in the inner work. So I'm going to finish on this note. Remember, loves, this is a time for healing, transcending all pains and sufferings that you've been experiencing. I know personally, because I was going through it and I was feeling all of these energies, and I was just like, what is going on with me? I was very, very emotional. I was very topsy-turvy, up and down, peaks and valleys, and just really going through it. So I actually also started working with Moldavite. I ordered that and started working with that this month, earlier on in the month. So of course, that's also going to take you through a transformation. So I'm going through the transformation of all of the planets, and the sun and Sirius, and getting the downloads from that. And then the new moon, the eclipse that happened. And then now going, and then the retrograde, planets in retrograde. And then going through now with the full moon. So I was truly feeling that pressure and things happening. However, my inner self told me, my inner wisdom told me that I needed it. And then it also told me to pick up the Turritella agate, which I cleanse, and I'm actually just about to now start working with. And of course some other stones, because I picked up aragonite and black obsidian and the snowflake obsidian, and it's so many, really, to be honest. It's so many different crystals that, and I actually started working with numite, which I've had for a while. Numite is definitely a great stone to be working with, I feel like, at this time, because it's helping you with your psychic abilities, your dreaming, and things like that. And I'll do a video on the new crystals I picked up, and also some of the crystals I've been using, to give you some insight on those as well. Anywho's, like I was saying, I picked up those stones because I was intuitively given that direction, and it had nothing to do with my rational mind, because my rational mind didn't have a clue as to why I was getting them at the time. My rational mind didn't know anything about, or wasn't aware that we were going through all these energies and things. My intuitive mind was preparing me to go through these, giving me the tools I needed in order to go through these. You know what I'm saying? So that just goes to show you how your intuition is the key to your inner work, and it is the key to actually your outer too. Because at the same time, again, when you clean up your inner being, then you are manifesting and creating the world that you truly want to live in. So now, I want to give thanks to everyone that watches my YouTube videos, that comment on the videos, that like them, and also have subscribed to me. I definitely just want to send you out so much love. I send you all this love, y'all. I send you out so much love, and I really do greatly appreciate you guys. Namaste, meaning I see the divine in all of you, because the divine is in me too, because we are all one. I am here to be a light to others so that we can grow and glow together. That's really what I know I'm here to do. I am, like I said, I'm grateful, and I give thanks for all of you. And I am trusting in the universe that this information that I gave you will definitely be helpful to you, will definitely continue to guide you and lead you in the right direction, and will make you a better you, and a more balanced you. So thank you guys for watching this video. I love you guys. Peace.